If we could set up a Truman Show scenario where Trump thinks he's president again and the public send in scenarios for him to deal with, what would you suggest? Famous, respectable people keep having private meetings with Trump, and when they are alone, but still being filmed per the premise. The respectable celebrity acts like a total lunatic for like half the meeting and then acts. Normally once the Secret Service finally replies. Nobody is allowed to acknowledge that everyone is constantly fucking with him. And nobody will undo whatever insane thing the celebrities do to his office. Smear poop on the walls? Cleaning staff doesn't see anything, etc. Also, the cable is constantly out wherever he goes. A flock of genetically modified, hyper-aggressive geese is flying straight for the White House bent on destroying the last vestige of American greatness, then send in a high-ranking official from the DOD to convince Trump to take shelter in a newly constructed goose defense bunker. Only Trump is told of the bunker, and whenever he asks about anyone else someone just tells him they're on their way. Quote, "Nobody will be coming," while he is trapped in the bunker. Slowly remove all the actors in small groups at a time so it looks like humanity is losing the war. In the end all the actors are gone and he's left alone thinking the human race was destroyed by birds. Maybe we should do this for elections. Put each candidate in a bubble and send in scenarios and have actors act as their team, etc. People vote on it and then they get eliminated if they suck at responding. A large, artificial object of interstellar origin enters orbit around the Earth. I would make everyone who appears in the show with him have really oversized hands. And all the appliances, door handles, cups, TV remotes etc. are designed for people with very large hands to use. And no one ever discusses their larger hands. Make the entire set on a slight angle and not install handrails. A Mexican moves in next door. First of all, I'd give him access to some art supplies and a talented clothes designer. And ask him to design the new official president of the world uniform for him to wear. Just let him roll. You can't write stuff like he pulls off. Tell him the only true way to stop hurricanes is with a massive wall of windmills. I would tell him that Nancy Pelosi stepped down from House Speaker for health reasons. And that the Democrats have chosen Pedro Rodriguez. Made-up person with the most stereotypically Mexican name I could think of. Then, tell him that Mike Pence had a heart attack and died. And so the Speaker has moved into the job of VP. That's not how it works. But Trump's too dumb to know that. So now, Trump has to work every day with his new VP. Who will let slip that he is an anchor baby? Who will use lots of Spanish phrases and arrange lunch from Taco Bell instead of McDonald's and convert the presidential limo into a lowrider and otherwise behave in many ways that Trump associates with Mexican immigrants? That should be fun to watch. He's not president. He's in the running for president. Facing off against a candidate exactly like him. Opponent directly quotes him in arguments without Trump realizing. Argues against his own previous positions and hates the guy. Second season due to a old unheard of rule with completely equal voting. Both candidates win and play swapsies with president and vice president every month changing. Third season the other president is in a coma and Trump has the option to off him and become president. Trump will off him pretty quick, so we'll have to think on our feet at that point. That's a start. Tell him that Kristen Stewart has infected 150 people with COVID coughing on chicken nuggets at a McDonald's and 26 of them have died since it happened yesterday. I want to see if his hatred for Kristen Stewart will win out over his denial that COVID is a bad disease, and I think the introduction of the chicken nuggets will lead to some interesting places. Especially if I create a fake Twitter sphere where McDonald's threatens to shut down forever over this event, costing thousands of Americans jobs. Gina is secretly buying all the golf courses in the United States. He has to put together one of those flat-pack office storage boxes by himself. A global pandemic with a deadly disease, to make it a bit easier for him, I'll give him advance warning and have the disease start on the other side of the world. Say, China. Hell, let's have the disease hit Europe first to show that industrialized Western nations aren't immune from its effects. To make it even easier, I'll give him an advisor that's not only an expert on infectious diseases, but also politically experienced. To finish off, I'll give him a rabid cult-like base that will do whatever he says, no questions asked. On second thought, I think I made this too easy. There's no way he'd fuck it up. Just let him completely run with it to really expose the crazy to its maximum potential. Tell him he's in charge of every branch of the government and just see how absolutely wild shit gets in fantasy land. This is the best idea I've seen in a long while. I would even start watching TV again just for this show. Let him start building the wall. But every time he goes to sleep for the night, it's taken down. When he asks where the wall is, everyone would go, "What wall?" This continues for a while until eventually nothing is being built and people keep asking what wall he refers to. See how fast he goes mentally insane. I would come up with a scenario where Trump has to try and defeat the QAnon movement. I would set up Sacha Baron Cohen as the antagonist, new role every season. It is a summer break. Trump is on vacation, comes back and faces a new Cohen character as the ultimate enemy of the state. He hates everyone with shrieking passion, fueled by his success over the last one. But they just switch to the next one without mentioning the old one ever again. Mr. Trump. China wants to colonize the moon. We have to beat them. NASA confirms that if we put the moon above the USA, then our astronauts could go there straight. While China, from the other side of the globe, can't reach it because the Earth is in between. We need ideas on how we gonna move the moon. There, grabs popcorns. Make him draw a clock. Tell him there's someone with a bad haircut on TV pretending to be him. Alien invasion. Definitely alien invasion. I say we start out with the Hardy Boys. Book 1, the Tower Treasure. See if he can solve the problem and then we will work our way from there. A surprise visit from Putin. Traffic is too bad and his helicopter stops working. So he has to jog all around DC to make his meetings. A crowd booing all of his ideas every time he does a rally. Hunter Biden is his VP. Give him the idea that he truly has absolute, unchecked power. And watch who he goes after. Sending opponents to prison. Unleashing the military on domestic criminals. Nuking select countries and world regions. Kidnapping barely legal supermodels and actresses for a White House basement harem. He gets the wall built but Mexico invents the stepladder. Give him a DNA test that says he's 99% Mexican. Just start throwing random movie plots at him to see what he comes up with. Great white shark off the coast of Martha's Vineyard killing people. Extremely large gorilla in NYC. Group of thieves in really fast cars causing chaos. Professor and boy create time-traveling car. Sharknado is real. There's some sort of engineering disaster regarding America's toilets and he's tasked with designing a new one. Every iteration gets tested in front of a crowd of people that snicker and jeer out of disappointment. The possibilities are endless. Trump shines in every situation by being a completely inept loaf of bread. Cabinet Makers Union goes on strike. These bad hombres. Folks. They make some beautiful cabinets. Don't they? With the handles. So many handles. And good handles. Made in America. Which is really where the quality is. You know. I know more about handles than anyone. The best handles. Lindsay Lohan gets stuck in a treehouse? Trees are so high. Way up there. And she was in The Parent Trap. Which was fake news. And it was really something. Folks. And a lot of people. Smart people said so. And when you gotta go. You gotta go. Am I right? North Korea declares war on a small-town bakery? Korea. With the evil cow Mi Dong. Really not a bad person. Once you get to know him. Such a great guy. He offered me his daughter once. And folks. I was the president. And these cupcakes. Not like other cupcakes. But both sides are great. Unlike crooked Hillary. Lock her up. Lock her up. Extra fun. Water cooler moments where you have to convince your coworkers that it's just a TV show. Half of Americans will think it's real. At first. We'll laugh at them, too. But, before you know it, the power of the fake presidency will start having real-world power. Neo-Nazis are storming the Capitol. Defiantly something with an alien invasion and anal probing. Mr. President, Dallas has fallen to the alien invaders. All citizens have been herded into camps and fitted with butt plugs. Pink butt plugs. Replace all stairs with ramps. This would be hilarious. I'd watch 100%. Wouldn't it be better to make him believe that he just escaped from a Truman Show? That he was never president at all. That he lost that election by a landslide. That would be real art. All the illegal immigrants are leaving the US and the economy is collapsing as a result. Smiley face. Send him out on a boat into a never-ending storm and forget he ever existed. Have him deal with a doppelganger of himself, who also claimed to be president, and whom everyone else believed. He'd have to do a live debate against himself, using his typical strategy against him. The audience would only react positively to the doppelganger's antics. Low B-Day pressure. Every time he lies, he loses $1 million. Can't imagine a greater conflict for him to deal with. A pandemic. Can you imagine how badly he'd fuck it up? Please don't let this be one of those shaky camera shows. This is a genuinely brilliant idea. I think I would present him with things like, Americans are eating too many eggs. How do we deter them? And watch the amazing half-baked speeches he would inevitably make up. I would watch every damn episode. The rain is turning the frogs gay. How can we combat this travesty? Kim Jong-un accidentally sending him dick pics by mistake. A black lesbian trans woman runs against him and is demolishing him in the polls. CNN, Fox News, Newsmax are all strangely in agreement that she would make a great president. At debates, the moderator mispronounces Trump's name, rarely asks him questions, and mutes him immediately when he interrupts her. Nobody in the courts or in his cabinet are going to let him cheat. And the army says that if he doesn't let her transition team in on November 3rd, they will act swift and hard. Y'all realize America could pay off its national debt if you guys makes this happen. Child-eating aliens invade and they want to buy condos in Trump Tower. Canada decides to build a wall to keep Americans out. and demands the US will have to pay for construction. Leave him with just a can of beans and a tin opener